So most contractors don't actually hire real sales managers. What they end up doing is they promote closers and hope that they magically become great leaders over time. And that decision usually costs hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars over the life of the sales manager. Because here's the thing, being really great at sales and building a sales department are two wildly different skill sets. And today I'm going to walk you through why most sales managers fail in our industry so you can avoid making the same mistake yourself. If I've just met you for the first time, my name's Steve Huber. I founded a company called ContractorsCRO. We work with contractors all over the country. And that was after spending 16 years inside some of the largest home service businesses in the country, selling over $2 billion worth of products. On this channel, I just literally break down things I see in contractor businesses every day, so hopefully you avoid making the same mistake yourself. So let's talk about the top 5 reasons why promoting a really great closer into a sales manager is usually not a really great idea. Number 1 is the skill set and attributes needed to be a really great closer usually are not really great in management. Let me break that down for you. So to be a really great sales rep, you need things like high money motivation. You need to be somewhat aggressive at times. You need to have good persuasion skills. Some of the best salespeople I know are kind of lone wolf mentality. They want to go out and kill what they want to eat tonight. And that mentality works awesome in closers. Sales managers, different ballgame. The skills needed to sell a customer and the skills needed to build a sales team and build people and culture and have families' livelihoods in your pocket are wildly different. It's also the difference between managing just yourself and managing a group of people. It is, again, wildly different. And so normally what happens is we take a really great salesperson, we stick them in management, and we don't really help develop them as leaders. They can't develop anybody else as leaders. And not only do we have a management problem now, but we took one of our best salespeople and we lost them. And so one of the things I don't want to see you do is take a really great producer that's happy and doing great things and lose them and set your team back. It's like a double negative. We lose our best person and we lose the sales manager, which really, really stinks. Thing number 2 that most contractors don't understand is that to get to the places that you want to go to, it's a lot easier to have somebody that's already been there before. So let's say you're a $10 million contractor today and you want to become a $20 million contractor in the next couple years or maybe the next year. If nobody on your team has ever been to 20 million, it's going to be a learning curve for you the entire way there. And normally, again, if we take our best closers and we turn them into a sales manager, they've never worked in that kind of environment before. Now, of course, there's exceptions to the rules. In fact, some of the greatest salespeople and sales managers I know start off as salespeople within my teams, and they saw how systems worked running hundreds of millions of dollars a year in revenue, and they were able to take that into management roles that they have at other companies. They're tremendous at what they do. But if you're somebody that's promoting somebody up that has never been to the levels that you want to get to, you need to realize that you have no guide helping you understand what is going to end up happening. You're going to have to learn all those things on your own, along with your manager, because they've never been there before. And so what you want to make sure you're not doing is hiring below the level that you actually need. You may actually need somebody that's done 20 or 30 or $50 million a year if you want to get to those levels. But if you keep hiring $5 and $10 million leadership, it's going to be really, really tough. It seems cheap today to do that, but what you end up doing is locking yourself in to mediocrity and learning curves for years. And that ends up being way more expensive than just hiring the right person to begin with. So the third reason that hiring and promoting a sales manager up from your sales team today, and this is something I see all the time, is that usually that happens in contractors that understand sales teams the least and have the least amount of organization. And so if you don't really have control over your sales department, you don't really understand how it works, what your customer acquisition cost is, how your funnels work and operate, your call flows, your process overall within the department. And then you simply delegate that off to somebody else that doesn't have a lot of experience architecting those types of systems. You've got a broken system that you handed to somebody that's inexperienced enough to fix it. And that happens all the time. We get called in for people that say, hey, our sales VP is not doing the right things. I don't feel confident in what's going on. Nobody understands the system and processes. Nobody can see anything. It just feels very clunky and unreliable. And the first thing we do when we go in is look at the VP, and they don't have any experience doing this stuff. They've actually never even worked in a system that operates properly, so they don't understand what it looks like to begin with. So now I got an owner that doesn't understand what's going on, a VP that doesn't understand what's going on, and those are a very, very bad combination to have happen. So if you don't fully understand your KPIs, your forecasting, your recruiting systems, onboarding, compensation design, accountability structures, how to delegate, you probably can't properly evaluate whether the role is working well or not working well. In other words, we took our very best salesperson and put them into a role that we couldn't even evaluate if they were doing a good job or not. That is a great way to burn out a really great person and have a big stain on your management team. So don't do that. Before you promote somebody, make sure that you're promoting them into a place that they can be successful, not a place that they're probably going to fail. All right, reason number 4. Most contractors don't actually need a full-time sales manager yet. Now, let me explain what my sales managers used to run when I was running full-time teams. We managed between 20 to 30 salespeople per manager. Our department's $50 to $100 million a year per manager. When I work with contractors today, usually the places I see a full-time manager needed is going to be about 5 to 8 salespeople. And I'd say at least $10 million a year and up. You just simply don't need a lot of overhead and a lot of salaries if you're below that. What you need is a sales system architect. This is how you get to those bigger levels to where you start needing real hands-on sales managers. So what ends up happening is contractors will say, I'm overwhelmed. I need to hire somebody. Let me throw Johnny in the spot because he can deal with these sales reps. I've got 2 of them, and we'll pay Johnny a salary. Johnny's on a salary, doesn't know what's going on, doesn't know the systems, can't architect anything, and you'll stay stuck there for years. I see this all the time. And so that is where it's wiser to not put somebody full-time into sales management. You just don't have enough volume and momentum going on for them to actually be busy. But the only person that would step into that role is somebody that's super junior. You're not going to hire a really experienced sales manager to manage 2 guys. It just doesn't work that way. They want to build big teams and run a lot of revenue. And so instead of doing that, it may make sense to go fractional, which again is why my company exists to begin with. We see it all the time. Somebody needs sales leadership, wants to do things that they've never done before, but can't necessarily run out and hire that person right now anyways. They need somebody to bridge the gap and help them get to some of those upper levels to where it makes sense to hire people in-house. So instead of hiring a junior person, you can take the same amount of money you would have spent hiring somebody that doesn't know what they're doing and has never been to the places you've been to or you want to go to, and actually use it to hire a real pro that's done at least $50 million a year. Worth mentioning, everybody on my team, $50 million a year is the minimum that we have done in revenue for all of our CROs here. So anyways, instead of hiring junior, make sure you make the right hire. And again, it probably is more affordable than you think it is. Number 5, your goal at the beginning is not to build a large sales team. It's to build sales infrastructure. This means that we are not relying on charismatic managers to make things happen. We are trying to build systems. So think about recruiting systems, onboarding systems. What are the scorecards and KPIs? What's the training cadence, the accountability, the forecasting? All of those things are what we're trying to nail down at the very beginning. Because here's the real Real reality. If you're at $10 million right now and you're trying to grow to $50 million, you will never get there unless you have systems in place. Now, maybe you get lucky and you grind your way there 1 year. Almost 100% of the time, it will crash the following year because there's no sustainability to it. In other words, all of the infrastructure is your sales manager's charm, their personality, their motivation. And if that sales manager doesn't work for you anymore because they ask for getting paid $3 million a year or some crazy number, or something just doesn't work out, you have nothing left. And so what you want to do is systematically build your sales department. And this is what it's going to allow you to go from 2 salespeople to 20, from making minor marketing decisions off of gut hunch and we feel like this is okay, to I know that I have a machine that when I put $1 in, I get $20 out the other side. Or we're going to sell $3 million this month, and here's exactly how we're going to do it. Imagine the confidence that you have in place when you have those kind of systems. That's ultimately how you get to the places that you want to be. And if your goal is to ever sell your company, you can't work off somebody's charismatic charm as your sales system. You're going to need all of these frameworks and systems and structure in place, because when somebody comes in to buy you, if you are the system or your sales manager is the system, you really don't have a company worth buying. And so that's the goal at the very beginning. And unfortunately, most hardcore closers have never again been in those systems before, or they don't know how to architect them and what to look for. They've been able to thrive in a process and system that maybe was created and built for them. But designing and architecting that out the get-go is not something that most A-grade closers are really, really great at. So make sure that you've got your KPIs in place, your systems in place, and make sure that you're hiring somebody that actually knows what's going on. So if you're trying to figure out, hey, I'm sitting here today, I don't know if I need a sales manager, a VP of sales, a fractional CRO. I know I need help, but I'm not sure exactly where I'm at in the process. Again, we work with contractors like you all day, all night. So go to ContractorsCRO. We've got a free diagnostic tool there for you. It'll take you 4 minutes to fill out, and it's going to help spotlight exactly where your holes are at. What is the options that we would recommend to you if you were one of our clients? And again, our goal is not to be a fractional CRO for you forever. It's to help you hire a full-time VP of sales in. Again, I was an executive director and a VP for over a decade. I know the size teams and companies that it takes to get there and the pathway to make that happen. We want you to be one of them. So if you're stuck, you don't know where to go next, check out ContractorsCRO.com. I'll put the link down below for you. And until next time, keep winning, and I'll see y'all later.